Hello everyone, I welcome you all in this video. In this video, we are going to discuss about the uh, two things. First is machining, and in machining we'll discuss about the what is the purpose of that, what is the principle, and what is the definition, and then we'll discuss about the concept of the directrix and the generatrix. Okay, so this is the third lecture of the machining process. This is the topic we are going to discuss, and let's start. Okay, so first is the purpose of the machining. Okay, if we okay, so first one is the purpose of the machining. If we simply talk about that, like we have number of irregular shapes like gears, bearings, clutches, and all these things. So they basically needed the machining. If we are making them through the using of the machining process or the metal cutting operations. So they can be formed by the another way like casting, forming, and other things, but still if we are making by them using the metal cutting or the machining operations, then they are random in shape. Okay, like if we are talking about that, this is the cylindrical surface simply, and we have to form the gears over this like this. Okay, just try to assume. Okay, so we have to form this gear. So this gear, either what we can do is we can simply make the pattern of this whatever the number of teeth is required, and we can fill the material into that. So that is done by the casting. Okay, but if we have this size of a solid disc of a specific thickness or dia, then what we have to do is we have to remove this material. Okay, we have to remove this material so that the teeth can be formed over the surface. Okay, over this surface. So this is basically the for this purpose only we are using the machining. If we'll go the correct definition of this machining for the purpose of this machining, then most of the engineering components such as gear, bearings, clutches, tools, screw and nuts, etc., needs the dimensional accuracy as well as the surface finish for their serving of the purpose. Okay, so so this is basically the purpose why we are using the machining, to give them a required shape and size as well as the dimensional accuracy and surface finish. Okay, so this is basically the purpose. Next is the principle. Principle is like if we like as I said कि हम लोगों ने एक like we are using this random shape, and then we are converting it into the required shape and size. Okay, or the dimensions, or we are providing the surface finish. So we are just assuming that we have this random dia and random size of length. Okay, now we have to reduce the diameter. Okay, so what we can do is if this is the rod of L shape, whatever it is. Okay, capital L shape and capital D diameter. So what we can do is we can use a single point cutting tool over here. Okay, this is a single point cutting tool. So now what we can do is we can introduce some depth of cut. This is basically the depth of cut we are introducing. So what's the meaning of depth of cut is like how much amount of the material we have to reduce or we have to remove. Okay, so this is basically the depth of cut that we are providing in a single pass, and we are providing once we are rotating this we are fixing this workpiece into the chuck of this lathe machine. And if simply we are talking about the lathe machine only, so we are fixing it on the lathe machine, and we are fixing this single point cutting tool over the tool post, and we are providing the feed to this direction. Okay, feed. So what will happen if we have provided some depth of cut, then that will remove the material. So similarly we can go for the facing as well. So there are two things. If we talk about the lathe, then turning and the facing. Okay, we are simply talking about. So if in case of turning, what we are doing is, this is basically the this process whatever we have discussed right here. So this is basically the turning. So we are moving this tool in this direction, and this much amount of the material has been removed. Okay, from this side as well, means because this is a circular in cross section. So from both the sides. Okay, so whatever the depth of cut we are taking, twice of that the material is removed, and that is removed from this diameter. So we can say that if we are taking initially small d depth of cut, then final diameter will be d minus 2D. Okay, so now the road will be remaining at the end of this diameter and this length. Okay, now for the turning, what we are doing is the diameter is reduced. Okay, in case of turning, now we are doing facing. So facing is generally we have to keep the single point cutting tool over here, or in this direction also we can keep. So what we have to do now, this is rotating, and we have to keep provide will provide the feed to this single point cutting tool towards this direction downwards. Okay, so up to this center of this the material has been removed from this cross section. Okay, so what will happen if this much amount of the left of cut we are taking here, then whatever the length will be remaining, so that will be capital L minus small d. Okay, so in facing, what is we are reducing, the length is reduced. But what is the purpose, what is the principle? As per the definition, a metal rod of irregular shape, size, and the surface is converted into the finished rod, means whatever the requirement, whatever the dimensions required. So, of desired dimensions and surface by machining, by proper relative motion of the tool as well as work pair, means both. Okay, so because this is the rotating and we are providing the reciprocating motion to this one. Okay, reciprocating means first we are moving towards this, and again without any disturbance we are bringing the tool to the original position. Okay, so this is basically the principle of that, of machining. Okay, next is the definition. If we there is a one more thing in this principle, that the not basically this purpose, that if simply we draw, then we have the casted product. Okay, and we are converting it into the finished product. Okay, finished product. So we can say that whatever the casted product that we have of random shape and size, then we are converting into the finished product by using the machining processes. Okay, now there are different types of machining processes are available, means different types of machines are available. So whatever will be the convenient, we are using accordingly. Okay, so let's move to the definition. So if we talk about the definition, then machining is an essential process of machining by which jobs are produced to the desired dimensions and the surface finish by gradually removing the excessive material from the performed blank in the form of chips with the help of the cutting tools moving over the workpiece surface. So the same diagram, with the same diagram I'm using, that this is basically initially if it is a casted product, then we are simply calling it as a blank. Okay, so we have this blank and we are using the combination of the tool and the workpiece pair, and we are removing the material. So in the machining, basically this material is removed, whatever the material is removed, we are this is removed in the form of the chips. Now it depends that whether these chips are continuous, discontinuous, or with the built up edges. That depends on the material as well as other parameters. Okay, so the other parameters can be whatever the depth of cut we are taking, feed is there, what is the rotational speed, okay, and RPM. So as well as materials. Okay, so on the basis of that, how much amount of the material, means how the material is removed in which form, that depends on these parameters, material as well as these parameters. Okay, so we have to keep in mind while taking the consideration, means जब भी हम कोई material choose करते हैं, that time we have to keep in mind that what is the depth of cut we have to take, what is the surface, what is the feed, what is the rotational speed, we have to keep in mind. Okay, so this is about the machining, the purpose, principle, and the definition of the machining. Now uh, come to the concept of the directrix and generatrix. Okay, now for that, what I'm taking is, like I'm taking this notebook. Okay, now what the meaning is basically, because after that we'll start the metal cutting. So we just want to know the basic concept of the metal cutting. For that only we are right now we are using this generatrix and the directrix concept. So if this is the initially we have this workpiece. This is a rectangular workpiece. Okay. So what we have to do is, if this is my single point cutting tool, then I have to remove the material from this surface. Okay, this surface. So we can take that this is a 10 mm thickness, and we have to reduce it to the 8 mm, means 2 mm we have to reduce. Similar, so for that, what we are taking, this is a single point cutting tool, and we are keeping 1 mm depth of cut. So for one travel, 1 mm is removed. For the other travel, the second 1 mm is removed. But what the point is here, that either if I'm keeping the single point cutting tool over here, there are two ways to remove the material. Either I can move this tool in this direction. Okay, this is the first way. Another way is I can remove the material in this direction. Now, what's the meaning of Generatrix over here is, if if I'm keeping my single point cutting tool over here and I'm moving in this direction, okay, because I have to remove the material, there are two ways again, that either you should provide the feed to this workpiece, or we can provide the feed to the tool. Okay, so here we are providing the feed to the tool. Now we are moving in this direction, so the material is removed. Whatever the thickness, like जो भी आपका width है, whatever the width is there, like if this is of again 50 mm, and like 1 mm or 2 mm thick width can be removed in a single time, 1 mm मान लीजिए, तो आपको इतने टोटल कितने पासेस करने होंगे? टोटल 50 पासेस करने होंगे. लाइक सिंगल पॉइंट कटिंग टूल, हम यहाँ पे तक मटेरियल रिमूव हो चुका है, then again you have to bring this point over here. Okay, now again you have to move in this direction, again you have to move in this direction, like that. Okay, so 50 times you have to bring it from, means you have to move from here to here, and again bring it to the original position. Not original, but the just shift 1 mm. Okay, then we have to do the same thing. So what is that? The material is removed in this direction, but again we are coming here and we are moving towards like this. Okay, but what is happening, once the material is removed, we are moving towards this side. Okay, so the material is removed in this direction, so we are calling it as a generatrix, and we are, for that removal of the material, we are moving in this direction. So this is basically perpendicular to that generatrix, so that is basically the directrix. Okay, so this is the concept. So this was for the rectangular section. Now we are talking about the cylindrical section. This is my water bottle. So now we can, this is a cylindrical body, and if we have to reduce the diameter, then first is we have to keep tool over here. Now here the workpiece is rotating. Okay, and we are giving feed to this tool. Okay, so whatever the depth of cut we have decided, we are moving in this direction and the material is removed. Okay, but again, इफ लाइक आपका ये 10 mm का है और आपको 8 mm का रिड्यूस करना है, लाइक डायमीटर, सो व्हाट वी हैव टू डू, इफ वी आर प्रोवाइडिंग दिस डेप्थ ऑफ कट 0.5 mm, अगर मैं 0.5 mm दे रहा हूँ, तो टोटल 1 mm रिमूव हो जाएगा मटेरियल, बिकॉज थ्रू आउट इट विल रिमूव. सो इफ वील कंपेयर दीज टू, देन 0.5 mm from this side, 0.5 mm from this side, so it will remove the 1 mm material. So if we are giving a feed of sorry, depth of cut of 0.5 mm, then it will remove the material, uh, means we have to move from here to here, up to here, and it will remove the 1 mm material throughout. Okay, the diameter. Now again we have to give the 0.5 mm depth of cut and move in this direction. So what is happening, the we are this generatrix, basically the material is removed. Now we are giving the feed. So first, like we have to remove the material from this periphery, then this tool moves somehow here, then it will remove the material, then will shift the in this direction. Now what is happening, that material is removed from this area. So this is basically the generatrix, and perpendicular to that, that is basically the directrix. Okay, simply we are talking this one as well. Okay, now if we are taking a cylindrical, means facing we are going, then we are giving the feed in this direction. So if we'll give the feed here, the material is removed. So the material is removed like this. Now we are moving towards this center. So the material is removed from here, then here, then here, then towards the center. So what is this is basically the material is removed. So the generatrix will be in this direction, means rotation, and perpendicular to that, towards the center, the directrix, because we are moving toward that side. Okay, so this is basically the simple concept. Now what we are doing is, so now what we are saying, what we are looking for, that if we are taking, if we are taking this rectangular section. So okay, now we are taking the rectangular section. So first is I am keeping my tool over here and moving in this direction. Okay, then again I am bringing my tool over here, then moving in this direction. So material is removed, again bringing over here. So like this the material is removed. Okay, and this will complete. So in this direction the material is removed. So this is basically the generatrix, and for the removal of this material we are moving towards this direction. So this is basically the directrix. Okay, this is for the rectangular section. Similarly, if we are from here, if we are keeping tool over here and we are removing this material in this direction, again we are bringing over here and we are removing the material. Okay, so like this. So what is happening, the material is removed in this direction. So this is basically the generatrix, and for the removal of this material we are moving in this direction. So this is basically the directrix. So this is these both are the example of the rectangular plate. Okay, so let's see the example of circular section. Okay, so if I'm keeping my tool over here, okay, over here, then it will remove the material from here. Then what we are giving, we are providing the feed in this direction. Okay, so here, now here it will come and here it will remove the material, then here it will come. Means actually it is continuously rotating and we are giving the feed. So feed, generally we are for this lathe we are taking per revolution. So means 1 is moving in complete revolution. So the material is removed. Now come to the second one. Okay, after second okay, then we'll move to the third then fourth then five, then six, then like that. Okay, so 1 per revolution. So 1 is this, up to this completed, again over here, then in this direction, again here, then here. Means once the if we will not give the feed, then what will happen, this much amount of the material is only rotate this removed, and this will the workpiece will rotate, and there will be no removal of the material throughout the length. Okay, so if we'll not give the feed, then this will happen. So what we have to do, if we have to remove the material, then we have to move towards this side. Okay, so ऐसा ही मान लीजिए कि for the removal of the material we are moving in this direction, but the material is removed in this direction. So this will be like, if you will draw it in a if you will see from the front view. हाँ, तो बेसिक इसी में देख लेते हैं कि इट विल बी लाइक दिस. ओके, सर्कुलर मींस इस तरह से जनरेट्रिक्स होगा, एंड फॉर द रिमूवल वी आर मूविंग इन दिस डायरेक्शन. सो दिस इज बेसिकली द डायरेक्ट्रिक्स. नाउ वी सी द फ्रंट व्यू. So if we'll see from the front view, then how this surface will be looks like this. Okay, so this is basically the generatrix and this is basically the directrix. Fine. Now ये था एक another example, like facing की बात कर लेते हैं. Like for the facing I'm keeping this tool over here because आपको ये थोड़ा अच्छे से नहीं दिखेगा, because now the tool position is perpendicular to that plane, so it will looks like a point. Okay, तो मैं point मान लेता हूँ यहाँ पे. So point here, my tool is there and this is rotating. So when it will rotate, it will remove the material. So then we'll bring this tool over here. Then it will remove the material. Okay, then we'll bring over here. Then it will remove the material like this. We'll reach to the center. Okay, so material is removed in this direction, circular section. So this will generate the generatrix, and towards this direction it will be directrix. Fine. I think it is clear to you guys. So एक क्वेश्चन आया अभी recently in the morning session of this GATE exam 2021. What is the surface generated? Okay, आपको एक figure दिया हुआ है, like this is basically the generatrix and this is the directrix. Okay, so we are keeping the tool over here and the material is removed. So this is basically the generatrix. Now when we'll directrix इस direction में है तो हम यहाँ पे move करेंगे, then it will again remove the material. Okay, then again it will be like remove the material. So what will happen if you will if you want to see the 3D view, then it will be looks like that the material is removed, जैसा हमने यहाँ देखा ना, like if you will see this one, then material आपका remove हो रहा है, then directrix आपकी इस direction में है, ठीक है, तो material remove हो रहा है, then we are moving in this direction. So कौन सी surface होगी? It will be a cylindrical surface. But अगर इसमें एक और diagram की possibilities हैं, जैसा हमने यहाँ पे use किया ये वाला, okay, this one. ओके आपको इस तरह से भी दिया सकता था कि लाइक दिस इज द जनरेट्रिक्स एंड दिस इज डायरेक्ट्रिक्स फॉर द सर्कुलर सेक्शन, ओके, क्योंकि ये आप ऐसा ना एज्यूम करें कि दिस इज रेक्टेंगुलर, ऐसा लिख दिया होता है लाइक दिस इज जनरेट्रिक्स एंड दिस इज डायरेक्ट्रिक्स फॉर द सर्कुलर सेक्शन फ्रंट व्यू, then which surface will be generated, it will be cylindrical. Okay, so this is all in this video from my side. Thank you so much guys.